On Tuesday, September 11th, 2001, nearly 3,000 people were killed. 400 were police officers and firefighters in the terrorist attacks at the World Trade Center in New York City, at the Pentagon building in Washington, D.C., and in a plane crash in Pennsylvania. A terrorist group named Al-Qaeda and a man named Osama bin Laden were responsible for destroying, at one point, the two tallest towers in the world. On the average workday, about 90,000 people entered and exited the World Trade Center each day, so it was a shock to the entire world when they saw the Twin Towers come crashing down. But many people believe that something else happened on this tragic day. Today, we're going to be talking about some possible explanations and theories of alternatives to what we think we know about 9/11. Our first theory is that the planes weren't even the thing that caused the Twin Towers to crash. Instead, there were actually bombs planted in the World Trade Center that caused it to blow up. Here's a clip of the head of a group talking about how the World Trade Center fell without the planes even being the cause.
Trade Center, both of which collapsed shortly after. Now, this much we know for sure, but for some, the cause of the collapse is not as clear. Michael T. Donnelly is part of Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth and says that there's no way that a plane could have destroyed two of the world's largest towers. He joins me now from our studio in New York. Hi, Michael. So you say that you have new evidence that the World Trade Center collapse was not, in fact, caused by an airplane crash. What kind of evidence are we talking about here?
Well, we've all seen the planes, video footage of the planes hitting the towers, but the actual collapse mechanism is not quite that clear. New evidence that has come from an international team of investigators includes nanothermite material, which is basically made only by military industry, has been found in dust samples taken throughout the World Trade Center site. And let's not forget, there were 3 buildings that collapsed today, on September 11, 2001, one of which was not even hit by a plane. There's also evidence that was not included in the official reports of the United States government. The FEMA report, the NIST report, they don't even bring into evidence molten steel that was found in the basements of all 3 towers. And there's no explanation for molten steel. Carbon-based fires did not burn that hot to actually create molten steel that was found in all 3 towers. So, you know, some of the evidence is new and some of the evidence has just been ignored.
As he said, there was melted iron that couldn't have been caused by just planes and that we need to keep investigating it. However, the government is ignoring it. One of the 3 attacks that day didn't include an airplane, so why couldn't the other 2 have been more than just planes? Many people believe that there were also bombs in the building and it was more than bin Laden and his terrorists, and that there could have been more terrorists that were never caught. On to our next theory, people believe that Donald Trump, America's president, may have been involved in the attacks. After the devastating attacks, Donald Trump bragged about how he now had the tallest building in Manhattan. After that, Donald Trump went to the government and claimed $150,000 for rent loss and repairs. That $150,000 from the government had originally been set aside for small business repairs, which Trump clearly didn't have. Trump later went on Twitter saying this: "I would like to extend my best wishes to all, even the haters and losers, on this special date, September 11th. I watched when the World Trade Center came tumbling down, and I watched in Jersey City, New Jersey, where thousands and thousands of people were cheering as the building was coming down." Later on, after a lot of hate, Trump said this: "I lost hundreds of friends in 9/11. Yet Trump didn't give a name of one friend he lost out of the 2,996 people who died. Now, on to the next theory, where lots of people think that George Bush made bin Laden and other terrorists fly the planes into the buildings in order to get people fired up about declaring war on Afghanistan. And why would they want to fight Afghanistan? Well, Afghanistan has one of the richest mining areas in the world. And there was also a lot of turmoil there where the United States could have influence. It could also encourage the unpopular decision to put troops in the area. And many people think that a missile was launched by the government to hit the Pentagon. Here's a shady video that may have shown that Bush was involved."
Mr. President, I do want to get right to the news of this week.
Sure.
The terrorism in Boston.
Yeah.
Many people have wondered if it took you right back to 9/11 when you heard it.
Well, at first, I was deeply concerned that there might have been a organized plot. I don't know all the facts. I don't think we all know all the facts, but I was deeply concerned that this could have been, another organized, highly organized attack on the country.
People also believe that America and lots of other people knew 9/11 was going to happen. Not only did they know it was going to happen, but they were also showing it to us before it happened. So when it happened, it wouldn't be a big shock. Shows like The Simpsons, Johnny Bravo, and Spider-Man all showed clips that represented the attack was going to happen.
In New York, we could all go with the bus company's special Super Sitter fare.
$9? This one's on me.
You're stupid!
Well, you're stupider.
No, you're...
However, if this was what they were trying to do, it didn't really work. The entire world watched their TVs with their jaws open, shocked at what happened. After the attack, many people enlisted in the military to get whoever did these attacks. The United States' influence in the Middle East grew, having something so devastating that put every American citizen in shock would justify putting forces in the Middle East, something the government wanted to do before. Okay, and for the last theory, the theory that none of it really happened. It was a hologram, and everyone was in on it. This one is very far-fetched, but a lot of people believe it's true. Here's a video. So here we aren't biased, and I will try my best to disprove all of these theories. So first of all, the NIST had concluded after lots of research that a high-speed plane with fires could have easily caused the damage we saw at the World Trade Center. The metal interior of the Twin Towers could have caved in and caused the quick cave in that we saw on that day. And nobody saw any bombs being planted, so the bomb theory is not likely. On to the Donald Trump theory. Why would Donald Trump plan a terrorist attack? So what if he has the biggest building on a street or whatever? So what if he isn't very sympathetic? And even though Trump has done some questionable things, there's no way he'd plan a terrorist attack on his own country. Okay, so for the next one, on the day of the attacks, Bush was at an elementary school in Florida. Here's a clip of Bush hearing the news of the attacks. As you can see, George Bush is in shock. Not the look you'd see if he planned the whole thing. And there's no way that only Bush knew about it. There would have had to been other people in the US government that knew. And it would have been very hard to keep that a secret. So for the one about everyone knowing about 9/11, this one is pretty hard to disprove. The only things I can come up with is that it was a coincidence. The idea of a superhero saving the World Trade Center would probably make a good movie. But the clip from Johnny Bravo and The Simpsons, there really wasn't a good reason of why it should be there, but I guess we'll never know. And for the last one, holograms existed in movies in the 1970s, 80s, and 90s. But in reality, we are a couple years away from truly being able to display 3D holograms. In the clip shown, the camera quality was poor, so the frames could have made it look fake. Also, people think the government could have been hiding the technology from the public, but I doubt they would have been able to keep that a secret. But the clip you are seeing right now on screen shows the plane going behind a building that looked like it would have been behind the plane. But as you can see, the plane's wing actually goes behind the building, which looks like a CGI glitch. This one definitely looks fake, but that does not mean that all of the other ones were also fake. So I hope you enjoyed the video and maybe learned something about that tragic September day that has drastically shaped the course of US history, as almost 2 decades later we still have troops fighting in the Middle East as a cause of 9/11.